Hello, Hassan Reviews here, and let's get started. We're talking about James Gunn's Superman. Yeah, with the first of the new DC universe, or the DCU, spearheaded by James Gunn. And yeah, the 6/7, 8, 9. Well, the next attempt to bring Superman to the big screen, and I think it's fair to say, in my view, that Superman has always been this the one comic book character that's had the most uh rocky road when it comes to portray handling in movies. I mean, the first two films with Christopher Reeve are classics, and people love them. It's easy to see why they still hold up pretty well. But since then, most of the pretty much every movie is either ranges from being really bad to be very split or divisive, I should say. Like, the third and fourth films were the Reef series were awful. I mean, the third film tried to be a comedy with having Richard Pryor, failed. The fourth film wanted to be a nuclear deterrence PSA, failed. Yeah. Superman Returns was an attempt to retcon those bad films and return the series to a better route, which almost worked, but well, for many some people it did, but it's also very divisive. Some people are still unsure whether it was a really good film or just an F film. To me, I just thought whatever. Although I will admit, it's one of many films with Kevin Spacey that just leaves me feeling has not aged well, in my view. Yeah. Um, Man of Steel was very divisive. We all know how that turned out. Um, it, I can appreciate for trying to be different, but in a way, being as different as it was probably hurt it more. To be fair, and the rest of the movie, Batman v Superman was not that good, and you know, the Justice League films. First film, we know how much of a wreck that was, and you know, Zack Snyder's cut, well, the Snyder cut was better, but I don't really think back on it too much. So, because still is, whatever. It's good, but not my thing. But now we get to James Gunn's attempt to redo everything, and I think this is definitely fair to say this is the best Superman movie since Superman 2. Um, I I also feel like this is definitely the building block for what Gunn is trying to create with his new DC universe. Um, and I appreciate this film for not being like what you expect. Like, you get to this film and instead of being the origin story of Superman, which we've heard so many times, this feels more like we're telling that they cut a lot of the fact from it, and I appreciate it for it. It's much like the recent Spider-Man movies where they cut out what we've seen so many times and just get us straight into who Superman is, what he's been doing, and how he's been going around, which is good. And they're focusing more on the story of what Superman means to the world and how he feels about his actions and everything. It's actually pretty effective, and you do see how everyone you know feels around him. It's good. It's really good, and I get a lot of kicks out of it. The visuals are good. Most of them. I'll get to that later. Music is really good. I really appreciate all the electronic guitar riffs of the classic Superman theme when that shows up. It's really effective. I was really impressed with that. All the actors, fantastic. They do a good job. I think David Cornswet. To be honest, the only film I really remember him a lot that he's done so far is Look Both Ways, a Netflix movie from 2022. And he's a good Superman. I thought he was a really good choice, and he does a decent job. Nicholas Holt, so I think that's how you pronounce his name, as Lex Luthor. Effective, really good. I forget who plays Lois Lane in this, but she does a good job. But all the cast members, pretty much all do a really good job. And if you know James Gunn, you're going to get a few cameos here and there of people he's worked with in the past. And yeah, some you can guess why they're there, But yeah, they do a good job. Like I'm glad they do what they do with this. Um, I will say, as I said, this is definitely a building block for what is to come with this new DC universe. And you can definitely tell they're laying out the groundwork work as carefully as possible. But you do feel they are taking um, similar story beats to what came before in the Marvel Cinematic Universe when it was starting up. And much like the previous movies of the DCEU, you can definitely tell which films were the main influence for this film. And those two, well, brought up Spider-Man before, so I'll bring it up here. I felt a lot of the similarities to me, like the lighter tone and you know, just start not telling the origin story felt very similar to Homecoming, but Superman being outcasted and being looked down upon due to a message is very similar to No Way Home, though it's implied that the message isn't doctored by Lex Luthor, though I don't know for sure if they will change it around in future films or something like that. I mean, we know Supergirl's net coming out next year, so that might change a few things. Um, yeah, so there are those similarities, but I don't mind. I think they do a good job and they do make it different enough to say, oh, it's still doing its own thing, you know. Uh, well, I said the effects do look good. Not all of them are perfect, and the two main ones are Crypto the dog. Um, I I don't know. I didn't really like how he looked, and and Metamorpho's son just weird creeps me. We we just makes me ugh, disturbs me for some reason. The sun looks similar to how the creepers looked in the Minecraft movie, but I I just I didn't like looking at them, and I was like, ugh. If you like looking at them, fine, but I just couldn't. Yeah, there was just a few effects I just didn't like, and both the post credit and mid credit sequences are clear letdowns. If you have to admit, you have to admit when you think about what they're doing, because they want with this DC universe, the theme for the first phase is gods versus monsters, or something, or gods and monsters, or something like that. I kind of want a bit more to build on what they're with that, like give us what Marvel's been doing, the MCU with building things up to the next big event coming, and I don't think they do it with this. It's just like small of winks to the camera or in jokes with these, so they are pretty underwhelming. But those are really all the problems I have with this. Honestly, I think Superman 2025, I'm going to call it, yeah, Superman 2025 is really good, and James Gunn definitely did start things off on the right note. We obviously know there's still more to come. Well, with the shows at the very least this year, but the films won't resume till next year. But with Supergirl and Clayface, I think it is. But we'll see what happens when they come, and let's see where things fare. In terms of whether I'm going to fully commit to the DC universe, just give me time whether I can say I will, because at the moment I've not seen any of the shows. I only jumped in to see if they got the movies right with this, because with how the extended universe failed, can I was really interested to see if they could start on the right note with this, and they did. Just give me time for whether I get to the shows. It's going to take a while. But for this, I give an 8.2 out of 10 has stars. Really strong, great first outing, and shows what James Gunn's vision for the DC universe is. capable of. Just wait and see what happens in the future, and if he can build on it. In terms of what's next, well, tune in. I'd say in about 2 weeks, I would imagine. Maybe, well, anytime from say, I'd say anywhere from 12 to 14 days. From this review, I will get to do a review of Fantastic Four. That's because I'm going away on holiday for this whole entire week. So yeah, and then well, Fantastic Four comes out in next week, and I'll watch that, and I will talk about that as my next review. Yeah, and then go from there and see how things fare for the rest of the year for me with what I do for reviews and all that, and other things too. You're just gonna obviously have to wait and see what happens. I'll obviously still keep doing before the flicks. That doesn't change this week. I've already got worked out what's going to be uploaded this week for that. But in the meantime, House of Mouse Reviews is out, and I shall see you in 2 more weeks for Fantastic Four. Ciao.